Okay, so you've heard all the buzz about Demon Copperhead, Barbara Kingsolver's latest novel. And you're probably trying to figure out, is this book actually worth my time?
Yeah, it's a question we get a lot.
It is.
So, in a word, yes, Demon Copperhead is powerful, it's moving, and it's definitely timely. And it's no surprise that it won the Pulitzer Prize, but I'll be totally upfront, it's not like, light and breezy reading material.
So, okay, not exactly something you'd bring to the beach, I guess, but
Right.
what is it that makes it so powerful?
Well, Kingsolver tackles some really, really tough issues. You've got poverty, you've got addiction, you've got the failings of the foster care system, and it's all happening against the backdrop of the opioid crisis in Appalachia. But she does it with so much empathy, and she even manages to weave in moments of dark humor. It's pretty impressive.
Oh, wow. You've definitely piqued my curiosity. So, okay, give me the quick pitch. What kind of reader is really going to connect with Demon Copperhead?
Hmm. I think this book is really for those readers who appreciate, just a raw and honest look at social issues, people who aren't afraid of a story that will challenge them emotionally. If you enjoy a good coming-of-age story, and particularly those that shine a light on injustice and resilience, then Demon Copperhead will be right up your alley.
Hmm. Okay, so almost like The Glass Castle.
Yes.
Educated,
Yeah.
but with, like you said, a just Appalachian voice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It has that realness, that authenticity. Yeah.
Appalachian voice. Now, that is intriguing.
Yeah.
Tell me more about the writing style. What makes it so unique?
Well, the entire story is told in the first person from Demon's perspective, and Kingsolver absolutely nails his voice. It's authentically Appalachian, this blend of sharp wit, heartbreaking vulnerability, and insightful observations that honestly go way beyond his years. I mean, right from the first line, you're hooked.
Oh, really? What's the first line?
First, I got myself born.
First, I got myself born. Wow. Okay. I've seen some reviews that, found Demon's voice a bit too, I don't know, precocious, maybe even unbelievable for a kid his age. What do you think about that?
I can see where those criticisms are coming from. He's definitely a bright kid, forced to grow up, way too fast in a really, really harsh environment. But I think Kingsolver walks that line really carefully. I mean, think
Yeah.
back to classic novels with young narrators like Huckleberry Finn or To Kill a Mockingbird. Those kids also possessed a unique perspective on the world around them, a kind of wisdom born from difficult circumstances, right?
Yeah.
And I'd argue that Demon's voice, while challenging at times, ultimately feels authentic. And it really, I think, adds depth to the story.
Okay. I mean, you've convinced me to give Demon's voice a chance. So tell me a little more about his journey throughout the novel. Like, what are some of the key moments that really shape his experience?
Ooh, get ready for a roller coaster.
Demon's life starts off rough. He's born to a teenage mom who's struggling with addiction, and he spends his childhood bouncing around a brutal foster care system. And it's during those early years that he develops a tough exterior and this sharp sense of humor, almost as like a defense mechanism. We see him find a fleeting solace in drawing superheroes, a detail that I think speaks to his yearning for escape, for a better world. He even develops an obsession with Snickers bars,
What?
which might seem trivial, but it speaks to his longing for just the simple pleasures in a life that's filled with hardship. And then in high school, he discovers this talent for football, which provides a brief, very brief respite from this very difficult reality.
It sounds pretty heavy so far.
Yeah.
Does Kingsolver offer any moments of relief from all the darkness?
Oh, she does. Even amidst all the hardship, Kingsolver weaves in these moments of dark humor and genuine connection that offer these little glimmers of hope.
Oh.
There's this one scene where one of Demon's foster parents, this really hardened man, he tells him, a man can get used to about anything except hanging by the neck.
Wow.
It's bleak, but, it highlights the resilience and gallows humor that people develop to cope with these, incredibly difficult situations. And through it all, Demon keeps this sharp wit and this surprisingly hopeful outlook, which is really remarkable considering everything that he's going through.
Yeah. Yeah. So all this talk about Appalachia, does Kingsolver avoid those harmful stereotypes that we often see in portrayals of rural America?
Oh, absolutely. It's a really valid concern. It's one that the book directly addresses.
Okay.
So yes, she portrays the poverty, the drug use, the lack of opportunities that plague a lot of communities in Appalachia, but she goes beyond the surface. She gives us these complex characters that defy easy categorization.
Okay. So she's not just presenting poverty porn for the sake of shock value.
No, not at all. Demon himself is acutely aware of the stereotypes that people have about Appalachia. He even calls them out in his narration. Like, he talks about how outsiders view his community as a source of entertainment, a place to just like gawk at the poverty and the dysfunction.
Yeah.
You know, he knows that the world sees him as a hillbilly or a redneck, and Kingsolver uses his awareness to really challenge those very simplistic, notions.
Okay, that's encouraging.
Well,
So how does she go beyond those stereotypes and paint a more nuanced picture of life in Appalachia?
One way she does this is through the strong, resilient female characters that play these like pivotal roles in Demon's life.
Oh, interesting.
There's Mrs. Peggott, this kind neighbor who becomes a real lifeline for Demon, offering him stability and love when he desperately needs it. And then there's Agnes, the football coach's daughter. She's battling her own demons, but she ultimately breaks free from her struggles to, create a better life for herself. These women, along with others in the novel, really challenge that stereotypical view of Appalachia as like, a homogenous, backward place.
Okay, yeah, that's important. It sounds like she's really giving a voice to people who are often overlooked or misrepresented in mainstream media.
Exactly. And she doesn't offer these like easy answers or sugarcoat the challenges that they face. She gives voice to those often labeled as, like you said, hillbillies or rednecks, and forces us to confront the systemic issues that contribute to their struggles. It's a powerful reminder that the people living in these communities are individuals with unique stories and perspectives, not just, caricatures of rural America.
Right, right. So you mentioned earlier that Demon Copperhead echoes Charles Dickens's David Copperfield, which, seems like a really interesting connection. How does Kingsolver draw inspiration from Dickens while still making the story feel, relevant to contemporary issues?
Well, it's a brilliant example of how a classic story can be reimagined for a modern audience.
Sure.
Both novels feature these young protagonists who are navigating poverty and hardship, but Kingsolver updates those themes to reflect the realities of 21st century America. Instead of Victorian-era England, we're plunged into the heart of Appalachia, where the opioid crisis has really ravaged communities and left countless lives just shattered.
So it's a retelling, but not a simple copy and paste job.
Right. Kingsolver takes those Dickensian themes of social injustice and resilience and just infuses them with this urgency and immediacy of the opioid crisis. It's a bold move, and it works incredibly well. She captures the desperation, the hopelessness, but also the glimmers of hope and the unwavering strength of the human spirit that persists even in the darkest of times.
It sounds like Demon Copperhead offers this really powerful blend of social commentary and compelling storytelling. But for those who are, hesitant to dive into such a heavy topic, what would you say to convince them that this book is really worth their time?
Well, I'd say Demon Copperhead isn't just about despair. It's about resilience, it's about hope, and it's about the power of the human spirit to just endure, even in the most difficult circumstances. Kingsolver doesn't really offer any easy solutions, but she forces us to confront, these uncomfortable truths about ourselves and our society. She asks us to consider how we can create a more just and compassionate world, especially for those who've been marginalized and forgotten.
Yeah, and let's be honest, sometimes we need that, right? We need a good dose of reality.
Oh, absolutely. Even if it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Fiction can be such a powerful tool for empathy. I mean, by immersing ourselves in Demon's world, we gain this deeper understanding of the complexities of poverty, of addiction, and of the systemic issues that perpetuate these cycles. It's not always easy to confront these realities, but it's essential if we truly want to create positive change.
Right. So, if someone is on the fence, what's your final verdict? Who will absolutely love this book and who might want to just, skip it?
Okay. If you're looking for a light escapist read, this probably isn't the book for you. But if you appreciate powerful storytelling that tackles these, important social issues, then Demon Copperhead it's a must read. Readers who enjoy character-driven narratives, particularly coming-of-age stories, with a strong sense of place, they'll find a lot to love here. And if you're drawn to books that spark meaningful conversations and challenge your perspectives, then Demon Copperhead will definitely resonate with you.
I love that. So let's say, someone enjoys Kingsolver's writing, but, they want to ease into her work with something maybe a bit less intense. What would you recommend?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think the bean trees or animal dreams are both excellent starting points. They explore similarly complex themes, but with maybe a gentler touch.
Oh, nice. Okay. And for those who want to, delve deeper into the opioid crisis itself, any nonfiction recommendations?
Oh, absolutely. Dopesick by Beth Macy is a must-read. It's just so well researched and deeply affecting this account of how the opioid crisis took hold in America.
Perfect. Okay, so you've given us a lot to think about. Before we wrap up, there's one more thing I kind of want to touch on. Demon talks about this wanting disease, this idea that some people are just born wanting too much, wanting things they can't have, and that this wanting just leads them to bad choices and destructive paths.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that idea?
That's such an insightful observation. And it's one of the things that makes Demon Copperhead so thought-provoking, right? Is wanting disease a personal failing?
Mm.
Or is it a symptom of a society that prioritizes material wealth and status over genuine connection and community?
Hmm.
Kingsolver doesn't offer a simple answer, but she forces us to, grapple with these questions and consider how our own desires and values, shape the world around us.
That's a really powerful message to leave our listeners with. So to those who joined us on this deep dive into Demon Copperhead, we encourage you to pick up the book and just experience Demon's story for yourselves. It's a journey you won't soon forget.
Yeah, and when you do, come find us online and share your thoughts. We'd love to continue this conversation.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.